offers from other schools, but a lot of them wanted you to play defensive back, and then you ended up coming to Penn State because I know James Franklin said that he wanted you as a quarterback. So why did you want to play quarterback so much?
I think it was just something that I always wanted to play, even since when I first started playing football. I started playing like other positions, but I always wanted to play quarterback. And then once I got into kind of the middle school, high school years when I started playing, and that's just kind of what I always played, and that's kind of how I just always viewed myself, I guess, was as a quarterback, and not really as a defensive back or really anything else.
All right. I talked to your high school coach, Charlie Pierce, while we were on Thanksgiving break, and he said your first game as a freshman, you had a running back that had rushed for like 1,500 yards the year before, so he had anticipated you to be a predominantly running team, and then the backup running back got hurt in that first game, and then you had to basically carry the burden, and then he said you guys had to drive like 80 yards or something with one timeout, and you led the team to the winning field goal. So what was that game like?
I mean, that game was like fun to look back on, just kind of how everything on it like unraveled. We had our first two running backs ended up getting hurt. The first one was like an all-state guy, and the next one, he was playing well, kind of was really helping out our offense that game, and then he got hurt too. But I mean, as a freshman, that was like my first game. I just remember I was real nervous before, so I had a ton of nerves, and then the last drive, we had just a couple guys made some really good plays for us. A couple guys made big catches down the field, and we were able to kind of get in the field goal range and kick the field goal. So it was just one of those for have a first game to end like that. It was kind of I don't want to say storybook kind of thing, but I definitely didn't expect to have the final 2-minute drive in that first game. But it's kind of funny how it played out and kind of how they kind of got the ball rolling on everything throughout my high school career. I think something I always look back on.
All right, so pretty remarkable. As a 4-year starter in high school, you compile a record of 55-5 as a starter, 3 state championships, and then you come to Penn State, and then you redshirt your first year, and then last year, pretty much the entirety of the season, you're sitting behind Christian Hackenberg. So did you get frustrated at all not being able to be on the field?
The first 2 years was tough, just not playing. After playing 60 games straight through high school, and then coming here for 2 seasons, kind of taking a back seat. But it was something that I kind of knew was going to happen. When I decided to come here, I knew Hack was top quarterback and one of the top quarterbacks in the country, and kind of knew that was how the first 2 years would go. But it was definitely hard just kind of to have to take the back seat and try and learn as much as I could and not play as much as I maybe wanted to, just try and absorb as much as I could from Hack and, just try and learn from all the experiences he had and just take it all in as much as I could, even though, it was kind of frustrating not playing. But it was one of the things that I knew it would end up benefiting me in the long run, as long as I had the right approach to it.
All right. So the Tax Slayer Bowl versus Georgia, I imagine that you didn't wake up that morning thinking that you were going to have to take your team out of a 21-point deficit in the second half. But first play of the second quarter, Hackenberg gets hurt, and he gets up pretty gimpy. He did end up staying in for the majority of that drive, but when you saw him get up, when you saw that he was shaken up, did you immediately start warming up?
Yeah, I didn't know how bad it was, but once I thought he was kind of shaken up, I'm more just kind of went to grab my helmet, because there were a couple of times during the year where he got hit hard or a little dinged up, and I just kind of needed to go in and spell him for a play or two until he can kind of get back. So that's kind of what I just kind of grabbed my helmet and walked over just in case they needed me to go in and give them a break for a couple plays. With that, once that drive happened, that's when they kind of told me to just warm up and start throwing and stuff, because at least for the rest of the half, he was going to go back into the locker room and try and figure could do and kind of look at him. The trainers are going to look at him in there for the rest of the half.
What were you thinking? Were you hoping that he was going to be able to stay in, or were you thinking, like, this is finally my chance, let's do this?
I wasn't actually thinking, like, this is finally my chance, kind of, but I was just I came in and I was like, all right, we got to execute our game plan with what we had for Georgia in that game. Just kind of fall back on the preparation that we had throughout all our bowl practices and stuff, and just try and get the ball into our playmakers' hands outside and get the ball to Saquon and let those guys do what they do. And just from my perspective, try not to force anything and try not to do too much, especially as a guy coming in, replacing Hack, and in the situation we were in, just try to come in and execute really, then kind of let everything else take care of itself.
Did he say anything to you when you went in the game?
Who, Hack?
Yeah.
He said, well, when he first went off, we didn't really talk to him. He was talking to all the trainers. But then when I got back into halftime, saw him kind of in street clothes and stuff like that. So he came up to me. He kind of pulled me aside. And he just kind of told me, just kind of play my game. He told me that, kind of gave me a little confidence, saying, I was ready for this opportunity and that he'd be on the sidelines to help out as much as he could for the rest of the game, but that I needed to step in and the rest of that game, it was my game and how I was going to be finishing it out. So just to be confident and lead the team how I always have been. So it was definitely gave me a little confidence boost through that halftime, and I think that actually really helped me just with my confidence. And after he kind of pulled me aside and talked to me a little bit.
You played a great game in that game. You finished with 142 yards and 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, and just 2.5 quarters pretty much playing. So after that game, did you think that you were going to be the front runner for the starting job coming into this year after Hackenberg announced that he was going to the draft?
No, I try not to look at it like that because I knew we were getting a whole new offense. I knew Coach Wyatt was coming in, so I knew it was going to be completely different offense that we were running. So I try not to look at it like that. And it was really, to be honest with you, like Coach Wyatt didn't know any of us at the quarterback position, and it was his offense. He was the quarterback coach and the offensive coordinator. So, really, we all had to make the best impression of him as we could throughout spring and the offseason as we were competing for the job because, he didn't know us and we didn't really know him. So I didn't really look at it as, that game kind of giving me a leg up anywhere.
What is it? Obviously, you've had a super successful year this year so far, and I don't know if you heard, but you got second team All Big Ten today. Congratulations on that, by the way. What specific part of your game do you think is what separates you from other quarterbacks?
That's funny. I don't really know. Physically, I think it would be kind of my ability to try and create, extend plays with my legs and kind of being a factor in the running game. Trying to help out everywhere I can. If there's a play where I got to run the ball, then using my legs and just drop back and they cover things up, or the rush gets through. Trying to create and extend plays. I think that's, at least in my mind, kind of the best thing that I do from a physical perspective as a quarterback.
All right. So I guess my last two questions are, what did you learn from playing behind Christian Hackenberg, and then what do you hope that Tommy Stevens learns from you?
From learning behind Hack, two biggest things that I know I learned that kind of stick out to me would be, one, just the mental aspect of the game, where he had learned so much from his experience with Coach O'Brien, and he kind of passed that on to me with how he would be, reading defenses in his drop during the play, pre-snap tips. He would get kind of just how he operated pre-snap and trying to read defenses, and kind of, there was a lot of things that he taught me with defensive responsibilities, just through watching film with him. I think that was huge for me because I'd never really done a lot of reading defenses in high school. His high school defense was all pretty straightforward, so it wasn't anything crazy. And so a lot of it was like reading coverages, recognizing pressures, and adjusting your protection to make sure you're going to be picked up and protected as much as you possibly can. And then also just kind of how he handled himself and his demeanor throughout everything. He got all the praise in the world, but he also had a lot of people firing at him and all over his back, and just how he carried himself throughout all of it, the ups and downs and good and bad times. I think that was huge for me, just to kind of be there and sit back and watch him experience that and handle all those things. And as far as I hope Tommy's kind of game from me, there's really not a lot. Tommy's a very good quarterback, to be honest with you. Real straight up. Tommy's a really good quarterback. He's smart. He's really athletic. If there's something that I could try to rub off on him, it would maybe be the kind of how I handle myself, kind of like I was able to get from Christian. Just kind of how I handle, try and handle myself as appropriately as possible, and in every situation, ups, downs, the good and bad times, things like that. But physically and mentally, Tommy's pretty set there, to be honest with you.